Hey there, welcome back to Sunil Talks. Before I begin the reading, I just want to thank you for your feedback, your compassion, the encouragement, the support, the way you responded to the most recent post, Let the Dead Bury the Dead. There were even some people that I got to meet for the first time by way of email. And so I thank you, I love you, and I appreciate you. All right, we're going to begin the reading. Now, the first card that comes out in this reading is the word evil. When we're talking about something evil, we're talking about something that could potentially be harmful. It can be wicked, and sometimes the force behind the evil is supernatural. It is not always of this earth. All right. Now, the overall message is that the devil is exhausted. At the end of yesterday's reading, I almost talked about how sometimes when you're meeting people, the devil in them wants to connect to the devil in you, or the light in them wants to connect to the light in you. And so we're all carrying a devil and we're all carrying an angel. And I want you to imagine that as a starseed, you have a radio station inside of you. One of those stations is the devil's station. One of those is the angel's station. Now, the devil's station is going to be the first station that you listen to. Now, when your radio is playing, which is all the time, because I'm really kind of talking about your subconscious. Your subconscious is like this video recording system where from the moment you arrive to the moment you transition out of this earth life, it is playing and it is documenting and it is recording. It's recording every sound, every emotion, every experience. It is picking up everything, even the things that you are not focused on, right? And so if you're sitting in a room but you can hear the TV playing, it is recording and documenting the TV that is playing, even in a different room. And so starseeds, you were meant to elevate, you were meant to shine, you were meant to rise above the rest. But in order to rise above the rest, you have to make it to your second radio station. That is the station that has an angelic sound, an angelic vibration, or an angelic frequency. Now, the first radio station is going to be the station that you hear that reflects your earthly self, right? Now, this reading is talking about the mother, your earthly mother. Now, everybody begins their life, even if you're a starseed, listening to one radio station. And this would be our darkness. This would be the first devil that we are given. Now, when I'm talking about a devil, I'm talking about the version of you that is not yet aware, that is not yet enlightened. This is like your consciousness, but it's before you have an opportunity to grow and to develop it. Now, this is a reading that says your first radio station that identified who you were was given to you by your mother. Now, if your mother battled inadequacy or self-doubt, if you have a mother that didn't know her value, that didn't know her worth, that struggled with acceptance or struggled with love or understanding how to be compassionate and caring and supportive, like if your mother lacked certain skills, your first radio station, it is going to be a sound that you attach to your own identity. Like essentially when you try to understand who you are, you play that first radio station because that is the projection, that is the reality of the relationship that you had with your caretaker. And so who your caretaker says you are, essentially you are, until you decide to switch to the second station. But sometimes that can come much later in life. And so right now, this is saying that the devil is exhausted because you are in the process, or you have already made the transition where you have switched the sound that plays through your body. You have switched your frequency. You have switched your vibration to the second station, right? And so you've already made peace with whatever the blueprint, with whatever the programming, or with whatever the foundation was that your mother laid for you. Now, imagine standing in a mirror, and although you're looking at yourself in the mirror, you're really only able to hear that first sound or that first radio station, which means that when you're looking at yourself, you can only see the reflection based on how the people that raised you told you you are. Did they tell you you were strong? Did they tell you you were capable? Did they say if you were smart? Did they say that you could do things that seemed almost impossible to you? Did they encourage you? Did they empower you to jump, to leap, to go? Or instead, did they keep you small? Did they keep you in fear? Did they keep keep you in doubt? Did they not reveal to you that you have worth? Did they not reveal to you that you are enough? Okay? And so if you had a mother that didn't know her value or worth, I want you to think about the quality of the first song that you heard about who you were. Remember, Starseeds have 2 stations. Now, as long as we are playing the station that our mother gave us, but this is a mother who didn't know her strength, her worth, or her value. And so that means there's an aspect of us that we haven't been able to locate our own strength, our own worth, or our own value, right? But starseeds are required to elevate. They're required to shine. They're required to expand and to be seen. In order to be seen, your frequency has to raise. And so the first station that you were given by your mother is going to vibrate here. This is where you will essentially have to battle the devil. The devil, or the darkness inside of you, is everything that has been tricked into believing it is less than, it is not capable, it is not intelligent, it is not pretty enough, it is not attractive, it's not desired, right? And so this is saying at some point you switched your station, or you were in the process of switching your station to represent the sound and the frequency that you would need in order to walk out your identity as a starseed. The reason why the devil is exhausted is because there is someone that wants to attach to you, but when they attach to you, they only want to attach to that first radio station. And so there are people who are essentially playing the same sounds and the same songs and programs that sound like our mother's voice. And so if you think about the great and the terrible mother, you know, it talks about the feminine quality. You either have the mother that gives life, or you have the mother that sows death. If you had a mother that sowed death, your first sound of who you are, it was the sound of essentially vibrating at a very low level, where you lived in fear, you lived in doubt, and you lived in illusions. But what is a starseed that's afraid? What is a starseed that doesn't know that they're supposed to shine? And so you are required to change your station, but you don't change your station alone. Every starseed has a guardian angel. The guardian angel says, listen, you're going to go through obstacles, you're going to go through challenges, but you will be able to get through all of them, because you don't walk alone, even if it appears that you are alone. And so not only do you have 2 stations, but each station comes with a key person. Your mother runs your first station. Your guardian angel runs the second station. This reading is saying that the devil is exhausted and the devil is overworked, because the devil is essentially sending in people. They are sending in people that essentially want to lick up with you. They want to have a relationship. They want to connect with you. But the people that are being sent to you, they are only running and operating at the first station. Starseeds, you can't run on that station your entire life. You can't live in doubt. You can't live in fear. You can't be tricked by illusions that are projected onto you for your entire life, or you'd never make it to the platform. You'd never make it to your throne. You'd never be able to put your crown on and stand in your royalty as long as you were still operating at that first station with that first sound, that vibration, and that frequency. And so wherever your relationship is with your mother today, even if she has transitioned, even if she has passed, even if you have severed the connection and you speak to her, you don't speak to her at all, there is something inside of you that she left, and that is that first radio station with that first sound and frequency that told you who you are. And I want you to think about the battle that we go through in order to purge all of the false labels, the false narratives that just make us small. They make us insignificant. They make it challenging for us to ever think that we are more, or to think that we can be more. There is a relationship that is coming out as evil, meaning if you were to get in the relationship with this person, it would take you from the second station back down to the first. Why? Because the only way that this relationship can thrive is if you are in fear, is if you are in doubt. And so we have the energy of a relationship repeat. But if this relationship repeats, it is only repeating to bring you wickedness or to bring you harm in a very supernatural way. Now, when you first met this person, you may have thought that they were a perfect fit. You may have felt like your souls aligned. You may have felt like, oh my gosh, we're balanced. And when I talk about balanced, I'm really saying like the light in you, it matched the light in them, and the darkness in you, it matched the darkness in them. And so I just imagine like an Oreo cookie, right? Like just two sides. But there was something about a relationship where maybe you did enjoy it. Maybe it truly felt like it was a reflection of who you were on your best day, but also on your worst day. So this is somebody that's like, you just get each other. So your lives could have looked similar. You could have had this, the same experiences. Maybe the way that you viewed and the relationship that you had with your mother, maybe this person could identify with certain struggles, right? And so there is a relationship that is wanting to repeat itself. Now, based on this reading, this is essentially a person that is coming in, and the only reason why this person is coming in is because they want you to return to the first sound of who you thought you were when you could only hear your mother's voice, right? And so your mother is essentially, they have laid a soundtrack down inside of your soul, and it only represents your earthly identity, and it doesn't even represent your earthly identity very well, because it's only based on the projection that she could give you while she was raising you. So there is a relationship that at some point you thought it was a perfect fit. You thought that not only am I meant to be here, but I'm meant to be here, and I'm meant to be here in this space with you. You know how you meet that person and you're like, oh, it all makes sense now. I understand why nothing else worked. I understand why everything else had to fail. It's because I was always supposed to get to you, right? And sometimes when we are linking up with people, sometimes the devil in them and the darkness in us, it just meshes. Or sometimes the light in us is just what connects, and that is what allows it to feel like a perfect fit. And so there is a relationship that essentially wanted to enter your life in the form of a love offer. Meaning, here, I'm offering you my cup. I'm willing to pour in yours if you are willing to pour in mine. But y'all, the first card I pulled out was evil, and it is coming in alignment with this relationship. Now, this could be, when we're talking about relationship repeat, yes, it can be a past person that is coming back and they want to try again. But the relationship repeat, it also could mean that this relationship is going to repeat a sound that you've heard before. It is going to repeat a frequency or a vibration that has already been laid for you. And so no matter what your relationship is with your mother has essentially laid the blueprint for how you operate on earth. Right? And the way you walk and the way you experience earth is based on who you think you are or who you think you are not. And so this relationship repeat, it's repeating an experience that you've already lived through with your mother. So meaning, when you stand opposite your mother, the way you feel about yourself, when you are opposite this person in this relationship, it is going to take you back to that same vibration. And so if you were always scared, if you were always doubtful, if there were illusions that could be cast upon you that would almost keep you frozen and stuck and not trying and not believing, lacking hope or lacking faith, that is what is happening here. And so some of the people that come to us, they are either going to come to us and they are going to be playing the second station that we are supposed to hear in order to walk in our starseed identity, or these are people that are playing the same sound that we were raised in, the same experience. And although it's comfortable, I mean, maybe in many ways this is like trauma binding. But the worst thing for a starseed is to link up with somebody by way of trauma, because all of that earthly trauma, it serves a purpose, but its purpose must end. We are not supposed to carry or to live out life with that version of us. We've got big things to do. We've got places to be and people to see. And in order to do the higher mission, in order to walk in the divine calling, you cannot be listening to the radio station that reflects fear, doubt, inadequacy. And so this is saying that there is a relationship that wants to repeat itself, whether even if it's not a person of the past, it is repeating a frequency. And so when I tell you that the devil is exhausted, it's because the only reason why the devil is exhausted is because you are obedient and you have been working. So when it's time to finally play the second station, when it's finally time to kind of shed the identity that was projected onto you when you're supposed to walk into the realness of who you are cosmically, the only way you can step into that is by obedience and works. Obedience and works is what changes the radio inside of you from station 1 to station 2. When you start to turn the knob to station 2, the devil gets anxious, right? Because listen, the devil is fallen, and the devil has made peace with being fallen. And so for a period of time, you are essentially like a fallen star. And at some point in your life, you are supposed to rise. You are supposed to shine. You are supposed to ascend in order to kind of return to your divinity. And so it is in those moments, it's in those seasons that the devil sends in certain people that are carrying the same sound as station one. And all it wants you to do is to turn the station back, to just go back to that first sound where you were afraid and you were small, you didn't believe in self, and you lacked hope. And it is only in the obedience that you connect with your guardian angel. Your guardian angel is responsible for station number 2. When you are tapped into your guardian angel, it is only because you are obedient and you have been working. When I say working, I mean it's not something that you're just thinking. It's not something that you're saying, but it is something that you are actively doing. What did they say? Faith without works is dead, right? You can say it and you can think it, but if you are not moving towards it and living it and embodying it, then it's really not real. Nothing is happening at all. It's just lip service, right? It's delusion. 3 ways that you are obedient. There are 3 ways that you are required to be obedient in order to turn to station number 2, in order to walk in the protection, right? And so this is how you get on your divine path. Once you are on your divine path, it is very hard for somebody to knock you. I mean, your protection activates. But you have to work. You have to be obedient in order to get to that place. It is not something that is just given to you just because you are carrying the codes for it. It is something that you have to use the codes that you are carrying essentially to unlock a certain combination. And there are 3 numbers. There are 3 numbers that you need to unlock a combination. The first number is called joy. The second number is called intuition. And the third number is called gratitude. When you move with joy, when you move with gratitude, and when you move with intuition, this is essentially you being obedient. This is you accepting your discipleship. And every time you move in one of those 3 energies, either independently at the same time, your guardian angel is able to connect to you. That is when your protection is activated. And so when you do this enough, you are locked in at station 2. When you're locked in at station 2, a lot of things can come at you. A lot of things will come at you because everything wants to drop your vibration down. Your guardian angel is coming up as someone that is fierce, that is bold. And so our guardian angel, it can be many things. It can be an ancestor that walked before us or an ancestor that walked with us and then transitioned. But this is almost giving me a personal relationship, meaning like the people that protect you are people that knew you. They are people that loved you when they were here and then they transitioned. And so can you imagine having a connection with somebody on earth and sharing true love, and that person transitions? It's like you have just got the best guardian angel that you can think of, right? And so 3 ways in order to hear the sound, in order to tap into the vibration that you are supposed to be tapped into in order to walk in your divine frequency, right? Joy, gratitude, and love. When we're talking about joy, it means in every situation you can find something to be happy about. You can find something that can make you smile. When we're talking about gratitude, it's not about the entire day being amazing, but can you just locate just a piece of your day that inspired you to live one more day, to just try again, right? And when we're talking about intuition, that's the voice of your soul. Those are your instincts, right? Those are the nudges that your soul gives you. And so those are the 3 ways that you get to station number 2. Once you're locked into station number 2, you are protected. Now, when you're on station number 2, the devil has to work twice as hard in order to get at you, in order to bring you down. And so right now there is somebody that is coming out as in the energy of somebody who is very intuitive. They are very gifted, meaning just like you can see in the dark, they can see in the dark. Just like you can pick up and perceive messages in the light, they can do the same thing. But what makes me nervous about this energy is the fact that they are coming out as overworked. They're coming out as out of balance. They've got this devil energy and they're feeling exhausted. It says that this person is needing to recharge, they're needing to regroup. And so what I was kind of seeing is essentially somebody has been trying their best to connect with you, and they only want to connect with you in order to turn your station back to number one. They only want you on the first station, because when you're on station number one and you're a whole starseed or a chosen one, the devil is at peace, because you're fallen and you can't get up. As long as you are listening to those thoughts and those sounds that reflect a lower version of self, you're not able to walk in your divinity. But when you start to be obedient and you start to work, well, then your protection is getting closer to being activated. And you are on station 2. You have already activated your protection. You have been obedient to your calling. You do understand that your life is moving in the form of a discipleship, right? And so your guardian angel is almost sitting very comfortably, and it is watching the devil exhaust itself. And when I'm talking about the devil exhaust itself, I'm talking about the darkness in the people that are working to get you to repeat a relationship, not necessarily with a specific person, but they want you to repeat a relationship that you had with yourself at a previous time when you didn't know who you were. And this is some sort of evil. It's almost wicked. It's like because they are supernaturally trying to interrupt your calling. They're trying to interrupt your path. But as long as you are tuned into the right frequency, the right station, the right vibration, listen, they're going to have to work. They are going to have to work if they want you to go back to who they thought you were when they could be comfortable. Now, I also have the energy of, like, I want you to think about yourself just really quickly. If you were ever at a point in your life where you had been working and laboring, right? And there's the point, what fruits of your labor. Now is the time to reap the harvest. All those seeds that you've sown, everything has to be returned back to you. And so what is hovering over you is like you are in the season of being able to reap the rewards that you've sown. And the devil essentially wants you to walk away. And the only reason that you would walk away is because you don't believe you're worthy. You don't believe you're valuable, right? You're doubting yourself. You don't feel adequate. And the only time you have those thoughts and those feelings are when you are replaying the sound of that first program, that first blueprint that was laid out for you, that told you who you were and who you weren't. And so you are in the season of receiving some things, and the devil just wants you to walk away, just wants you to put it down. But when you are putting it down, it is only because you are looking at the reflection. And when you're looking in that mirror, you can see your mother, or you can see your father. You can see the first people that raised you, that told you who you were. And if those people did not understand their own value, and if they didn't understand the calling on your life, then they're always going to shrink you. They're going to dwarf you. They are going to make you feel very small, even if the mission in you is mighty. And there will be some times where we are en route, where we can hear the second station. We've been faithful, we've been moving in joy, we've been grateful, we've been listening to our intuition, right? Our protection is activated, but it doesn't mean that the fight ends. It doesn't mean that the fight is over. But I want you to know that however you have been fighting, listen, the devil is exhausted. And so, y'all, this could be a person that's returning, or this could just be things that are happening around you that want you to go back to a relationship where you were moving outside of your divinity. You were not confident enough to kind of walk in your calling. That is what this reading is saying. I'm not going to be out here too long because it's a little cold, but I'm hoping that this message is coming through. And so there may have been a love offer. This is coming out as a love offer, maybe a love offer that you thought was evil, or it was actually evil because it would have required you to go to a lesser version of self. And so this is like you being in the process of ascending, and then somebody meets you here, and you kind of think that you're just going to rise together, but the idea is that relationship just pushes you down. And so every time you get a little higher, somebody comes in to push you down. And like that is the point of the devil, right? The devil has made peace. When I'm talking about the devil, it's the devil energy. And so somebody that's carrying a certain amount of devil energy, they want to link up to the old version of you. They want to go back to the devil energy that you used to carry. Some people don't even know that they're doing the work of the devil. Some people have no idea. But if the devil is exhausted, and this is also, now for some of you, I think this is a real person that wants to return. I absolutely think this is a real person that wants to return, but it's not looking favorable. It's not looking favorable because your protection is activated. You got the guardian angel. You're obedient. You've been working. You understand your identity. And one of the reasons why it is so hard in order to get this to happen is because you vibrate too high. And so think about all the work it took you to get to where you are. The devil is going to have to do twice as much in order to get you to go back down. It doesn't mean that they don't stop, right? But the fact that that devil energy or the darkness that is existing inside of the person that they are sending towards you, if they are coming out as exhausted, if they need to be recharged, listen, it says they're feeling financially drained. They're feeling like they don't have options. And so you were essentially somebody's option. Somebody was going to use you or to use the energy that you weren't using. As long as you're on station 1, you got a whole nother station of gems and treasures and abilities and talents. But if you're not tuned into that sound, and if it's not playing and running through your body, that doesn't mean that somebody else can't go listen to it and use it and access those vibrations and frequencies, right? And so listen, you're either like literally turning on to station 2 or I really feel like you're already there. I feel like you're already on station 2 because the protection is here. And when the protection comes, it means that you at some point you have had to trust that something higher is guiding you, right? When you don't trust the voice and the wisdom and the sound of the mother that raised you, it allows you to open up to a different possibility. I feel like our first God, before we are really old enough to build and to understand the connection with God, we almost look at our parents as gods. I mean, they do everything for us that God essentially does for us, right? But before we kind of develop that spiritual aspect of self, we look at these people that raised and created us as God. That is station number 1. Station number 2 requires you to understand who you are. When you understand who you are, well, then you were going to seek higher. You were going to look for more. The words and the rituals and the traditions of your family is not going to be sufficient for you anymore. It's like you will put down all things earth in order to pick up who you are cosmically. All right, y'all. I love this reading. And so whatever you're doing, keep doing it. And it really is only 3 numbers that you are doing to unlock those codes. It is called joy, gratitude, and intuition. When you are moving in those 3 types of ways of being consistently, that is you being obedient. That is you working. That is you working. And so keep working because your protection is here. And if there is somebody that is attempting to enter back in, if there is somebody that wants to kind of put you down, it is not easy for them. It is not easy at all. And so don't make it easy. And the only way to make sure that they're overworked, the only way to make sure they're exhausted is to maintain your obedience, is to keep working and moving in your identity of your second station. Your second station. All right, y'all. I love you. I'll see you on the next one. Bye.